This is a copy of the first ever recording I made. We had a family band and I'd only been playing for a matter of months. I was probably about 18 or 19 years old. Let's stick it on, have a listen and probably have a laugh. So the first ever solo I recorded was on a slow blues. It's Red House, and I took, I think, a double solo in the middle. I haven't heard this for years, so it's going to be interesting to hear how it's sounding, but let's have a listen. That's my sister singing. She was 16 or something. Here we go. Oh wow. So that's 12 bars. Gonna take some more, I think. Almost there. Hope that's it. So let's give a little review, a little critique of my solo. Now, bearing in mind I'm talking to myself, so I'm probably going to be a lot more rude than I would be to my students. I'm very respectful and kind to my students, or at least I try to be. But I'm going to tear this solo to bits. Come on. So the first thing I noticed was that I'm playing in second position. So the song is in B flat, so I must have used an E flat harmonica. And the reason I noticed that straight away is I was playing kind of these standard sort of beginner licks that everyone plays them. They're all very da da. Those sorts of in and out, 3-draw, 4-blow, 3-draw. And at the time I probably thought that's the coolest thing ever, and oh yeah, this is great, I'm going to put that in there. But second position, I mean, these days, if I'm playing a slow blues like this, I mean dead slow, I tend to, if it's not a real minor key, a real proper minor blues, I'd likely play in first position. Especially a key like B flat would give you the option of the lower register and the upper register to really kind of bring things down and build them up again. So B flat harmonica here, I can, or I could go up the top end. Those sorts of things. But I obviously chose to play in second position on my E flat for this. So that's the first thing I noticed when the solo started. Let's stick it on again. So here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to say is nice idea, not very well executed. So I've tried to kind of hit a low bend for effect, big dirty low long held note, but it's a 1-draw bend, which is, I mean, it's a bit of an iffy idea at best. Maybe a 2-draw bend would have been a better one. But more important than that, I mean, aside from the note, it's so thin. I mean, all the notes, they're so thin. It's a very thin lip purse, and nothing wrong with lip purse per se, but it's such a thin sound. I mean, that. What's that? I don't know if I think that's my attempt at a vibrato. I'm going. I think what I wanted, I think in my head I was playing kind of a rich kind of vibrato, but it's come out as a. I don't think it gets any better. Yeah, it's all a bit major. Sticky reed. Still got problems. Still got to play the thing. There we go. I mean, it's gone onto the 4 chord, and I've played. Not playing the changes especially well. Now, sometimes you want a bit of contrast in blues, and there's nothing wrong in and of itself playing the 4 draw, but it's the 2nd degree of the scale when you move to the 4 chord, the 4 draw, it's not the strongest note to hit over that chord, at least not all the time, and that's not a great introduction to that chord. This is part of the problem of 2nd position in a slow blues. So if you've got a slightly more minor sounding slow blues, you might choose 3rd position. In this case, that would be an A flat harmonica, and that gives you the chance to, even on the 4 chord, have some really tasty licks, because when it's slow, you're going to have a lot of room and things are going to be really exposed. So if you're in 3rd position, then when it goes to the 4 chord, you're essentially back in 2nd position. So on your A flat, you're in the key of E flat, or over the chord of E flat, which is 2nd position essentially. So you've got all your 2nd position licks. Now, I wouldn't have known any of this at the time, so I've just kept I've obviously chosen to play it in 2nd position, and then when it's gone to the 4 chord, I've not known what to do, so I've essentially just played licks as if they were still on the 1 chord, the 1st chord. So I mean, that's really a 1 chord lick. Let's see where I go next. Yeah, really thin. And again, really major. I mean, I've hit the major, the unflattened 3 draw, which on the 4 chord doesn't really work. Whatever, I mean, you know, unless you're playing a major chord, it's just not really going to fit. I mean, it's too bright. It's just not respectfully following the changes. Oh, this is pretty painful. A little bit of my vibrato again there. I will say, I like the amount of space. I'll put a shout out to my old harmonica teacher, Matt Walklet, who I will have been having a few lessons with before this recording. I've put some space in there. I mean, that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that. You know, that's the best bit where I'm not playing. Doesn't say a lot. I mean, again. I mean, I'm just hitting, almost every note is a 2 draw, 3 draw or 4 draw. It's obviously, that's where I've got sort of comfortable with my little blues licks, and then on this track I've just sort of gone with what's safe, which I suppose, you know, I'm trying to not be too nasty to myself. I suppose, you know, if you're out there and you're about to do your first recording, you should go with what is safe, because it would only have been worse if I tried stuff I didn't know. But it does mean it's not that suitable. Yeah, I mean, playing the 2 blow, not doing any bends on 2 or 3 really. There was a little bit of scoop on the 3. But you know, I could have got some really juicy, you know. But I must not have had those licks at the time. So that's the first 12 bars. Trying to really make it work now. I mean, that double stop, that's okay. Pet hate of mine. Those 4 draws, just bending up and down, wow, wow, wow. You hear it a lot with beginners. And I'm doing it there, and this is where I really get to the just 3 draw, 4 blow, 4 draw. I really get to that, just repeating those notes. So, I mean, good intention here. I've tried to raise the dynamic, because the first 12 bars I've obviously tried to keep it quite mellow. I've tried to kind of build it up here and start going for it, but the rest of the band isn't really doing that, so it kind of doesn't match what the band is doing. The band need to go with you, but the band kind of haven't. I don't know, I can't remember if we recorded it live. We probably did it all live off the floor, but I've obviously not indicated to them to go with me and really build it, so it's not really working. Plus, I'm just sort of hitting the 4, wailing on that 4 draw. There's no real movement to the stuff I'm playing. Rhythmically, I'm playing da 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 da, doing some kind of triplets. So I'm playing quarter notes, eighth notes, and triplets. But with the slow blues, one of the great things about the slow blues is there's so much room. You can come free of that time. You don't have to keep every note sort of rigidly in time. You can play some little licks that they're almost out of time, but they work because you're just twiddling over a slow blues. If you do it all the time, it becomes wanky. But you know, you can put some of that stuff in. I haven't done any of that. I must not have known or had the confidence to do it. I mean, that's on the 4 chord. That's just a strange phrase to play. 5 draw, 5 blow, 4 draw, 4 blow, 3 draw, 2 draw. I mean, I obviously didn't have any of the kind of standard licks for the 4 chord, so essentially first position licks. I maybe even couldn't do all those bends on 1, 2 and 3, maybe that was it. But I'm just, again, it's the same, I'm playing more notes this second 12 bars, and it's a bit louder, but it's all the same licks. I mean, there's a nice bit of repetition there. It's just that the lick is crap. Bit of vibrato again. Vibrato. That's almost okay. I mean, it almost fits the 5 chord. I don't know where's that come from? I can't even think what notes those are. You just played a 6 blow and then a 6 draw. What a strange way to finish. Really doesn't feel like a resolution, doesn't feel like an ending. But I suppose it was distinctive is the nice way of putting it. Again, it's such a thin note. I mean, I don't know what equipment I was using. I mean, I probably didn't have an amp by then, so I probably borrowed something that was in the studio. This was recorded in Stockport. What was, I can't remember what it's called, Strawberry Summit Studios, something. But yeah, I would have just used what was there. But it's such a thin sound. I mean, I tend to tongue block a lot more these days, and it's not that you need to tongue block, but if you are a lip person, you've got to make sure you've got a big sound, and that was a very... Sometimes I talk about the little old lady lips, or sucking through a straw. I mean, I was kind of sucking through a straw there, instead of... And lip pursing, you can do it. Just a bigger sound, you know, but I obviously didn't have it. By the way, this cover was designed myself. This is a tortoise who was called Lonesome George. He was the last of his species. At the time we made this, he was still alive. They were trying to mate him with other close species, but sadly he died, a bit like the band. And yeah, his species is dead forever. But I designed this cover on the computer at home, and printed them off, and we took them around to pubs and bars and tried to get ourselves some gigs. My stepdad was in the band, 2 of my brothers were in the band, my sister was the singer, my sister's boyfriend was the guitarist, my other sister's boyfriend was the saxophone player, and I think that's the full band, and obviously me on harmonica. Yeah, maybe best not to play any more of this. I think it's best consigned to history. Have you recorded anything? Are you thinking of recording something? How long have you been playing? Would you feel confident? Do let me know. You can put your comments beneath this video. You can upload things to YouTube and let me know, and I'll have a listen and have a look. I'd love to hear what you're doing. I hope you've enjoyed hearing my first ever solo. That was a blast from the past for me, and pretty painful, but you know, I do always tell my students to record themselves and then kind of listen back later on, and it can be uplifting, it can be depressing, it can be, you know, somewhere in between, but there we go. I'm going to go practice my slow blues licks. Until I see you again, enjoy your practice, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.